Hello and a very warm welcome back to Dovey Plant. So one of the things that's going to be integral or key theme of this channel is actually talking more about the business side of the plant nursery and just sharing the goals, the learnings, the finances side of things that kind of will need to make this, it's a business at the end of the day and it needs to be successful for it to thrive. Like a lot of investment I've put in and we've had a couple of kind supporters as well. However, we haven't sold a single plant yet. So I thought maybe the best place to start is to sit down and talk about the 2025 plant sales strategy, so I can share with you the goals of what we're going to be focusing on and prioritizing, because strategy really is priorities. Like, what are you going to prioritize? And so I've got a list here of 5 different things that we're going to be prioritizing this year as a business, and the goal is with this channel is of course showcasing the size of propagation and all of the interesting plants and the different schemes and uses and everything, but it is also a business, although it will be a business once we start selling plants. That might be what the definition of a business is. And so today these 5 kind of core focuses is to showcase what we're doing and why, a bit of the why, because hopefully, like, I've been watching a lot of other YouTube channels of other plant nurseries like Savvy Dirt Farmer or Fraser Valley Rose Farm, and I found them fascinating. I was like, and they're just speaking from experience, and I've learned so much from that, and they're showcasing what they're learning, what they're trialing, all of these different things. And I was like, you know what, we could do that as well as a channel and just try and encourage more and more of a community of people who are growing plants for their communities. Now, Dovey Plants, our goal is, our kind of focus is specializing in useful and unusual plants for resilient edible landscapes. So even if you have a patio, an allotment, a homestead, it's kind of looking with a core focus on perennials in future years, maybe not so much this year. Perennials that come back year after year that provide multiple benefits. Obviously a big emphasis is the edible side, but obviously there's other important things for a resilient landscape like biodiversity and wildlife or shelter. So kind of that all-encompassing focus on creating a positive future. And also the other thing is taste is so important, and that's a big part of working alongside Sam, who has also helped. Me and Sam, we just kind of thought let's create a nursery. Clear's well up for it, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. And also thank you to Will, who's kind of in charge of this channel, because otherwise these kind of videos wouldn't be possible. Because time is very precious. So hopefully we're doing this collaborative thing. We've got a nursery manager joining at the end of this month, which is very exciting, and we're just going all in. We're going to go all in and see what happens. Now, that's enough waffling. I'm going to go through the strategy. Now, just to bear in mind context of positioning, today is March the 1st. Our first market, maybe quite ambitious, but our first market is 12th of April, exactly 6 weeks today, and it's the Lampeter Farmers Market. Also, the first few plants are going off to a shop just up the road in Machynlleth called Tymhorau, which is Welsh for seasons, and we're going to start selling there. So that's like a community-owned collaborative shop, 40 different businesses, etc., selling through it. And so it's really happening. It's about to happen, and it's exciting. Now, the first thing that I kind of alluded to earlier is the idea of, okay, perennials are a core thing. A lot of these things in front of me here are perennials, like the strawberries, the variegated kale, the oxeye daisy. Now, some things are also biennials or annuals in a way, so it depends how you're growing it, obviously. Now, these here are foxgloves, an ornamental foxglove that we had excess, lots of excess. So bees love foxgloves and they'll flower this year. So I was like, let's just sell them rather than like wasting them. And actually that brings us to like the first core thing, which is more annuals. The focus of this year in a way is going to be a lot of annuals. Now, the way that I think about it is when we have our sales and markets is I want to kind of entice people with things that they're familiar with, like tomato plants or cucumbers, and also think about things that are stocking fillers in a way. So things that are almost like you know what, I'll just grab it. That's an interesting tomato variety. I'll just buy it. You know, you're only parting ways with maybe £3 or £4. And gardeners, I know what it's like because I spend so much on plants, but a lot of these plants are really hard to get, especially to get them peat free, etc. So that's what we're trying to cover. So this year, cash is king. We need to see some pound signs in the bank account as soon as possible. And the growth rate of annuals means that we can sow a lot of seeds and grow a lot and start selling a lot from kind of mid-spring onwards. Now, some of the key annuals that we're focusing on are those things that people know and love. Like I said, with tomatoes and cucumbers. I'm also going to be doing lots of different flowers like nasturtiums, of course, calendula, borage, a lot of the things where you have a small plant, but it makes quite a difference. Like, I'm not going to be selling individual beetroot plants or something because that doesn't make any sense. Because this is, as a nursery, we're using either recycled pots, pots made out of recycled material, or second-hand pots. Also, I've got access to actually a lot of those trays where bedding plants are sold in, where you have 9 cells. And so like another stocking filler in a way is like 9 cells of dwarf beans or peas and kind of, or even leeks, just so there is variety, because variety and diversity is so important. I'll come on to that a little bit later, but I kind of want the, when we have markets, I want the stalls to look really full and really interesting. So that's the first strategy or priority, is lean into the annuals and grow a lot of them, and kind of choose the ones that are maybe a little bit different, the varieties that are a bit different. Or like, obviously you have blue borage, but what about white borage? Now, the second strategy that we've been doing is buying in wholesale bare root perennials, because the issue with perennials is that they're great, they last a long time, but they can take a while to develop. Now, we have in our fridge currently seeds that are stratifying. We have about 30 different trees and shrubs that we're going to start sowing actually from the midpoint of this onwards, depending on the length. Some of them won't be ready until May. So we're trying as much as possible. We've put out all of those mother plants to propagate as much cutting material from as possible as well. But we're a little bit behind because started this year, and so one of the things that we have been doing is buying in wholesale bare root plants of things like small leaf lime or Tilia cordata, which we will grow on and sell as like a tree that you can coppice as a salad crop, or flowering currant, because you can eat the flowers of flowering currant. There's other things here like Himalayan honeysuckle, and then there were also a lot of things that we can propagate from our own things, like strawberries. These are our homegrown strawberries, or the bee balm, or the mint. So it's trying to like fuse that thing, but kind of get a head start by buying in wholesale bare root plants that we can pot on and sell for a profit. The next one is to carefully introduce online sales. I don't think we will be selling stuff online this year, but I will be honest, it is kind of terrifying, because I've had some bad experiences where I've bought plants and they haven't turned up in the best quality. And I'm sure you can all relate. Like, sometimes I'm like, who in their right mind would pack plants that way in a box? And so I don't want to be on the receiving end of that, like responsible for that. As a team, we're going to be working on trying to find the best ways to sell and send plants safely in the post. There's a few different ideas. I think part of the core thing is to have a set of pots or plants that are standardized, so we only have like 9cm, 1 litre, 3 litre pots that get sent out, standardise the boxing, but it is going to be interesting. So as a strategy, the goal is, with online sales, is to build that confidence to experiment. We're going to be sending a lot of things to ourselves to see how they turn up. Or might have to find some volunteers, actually, because that maybe seems a bit wasteful to send plants right the way back. But the goal is to focus on sales, face-to-face sales this year, and build up the infrastructure, systems, confidence, and efficiency to then do postage sales next year. The fourth one is as a sales strategy, maybe links in more to the marketing, and that is very much developing our site here. That is, like, we've been super busy with planting lots of different agroforestry systems, different areas, different corners of the garden, with selective choices of plants that we know we will be stocking and selling, and mainly obviously perennials this time of year. So as they mature, or in the future, I can then say, hey, Will, film a reel with Clear talking about, I don't know, New Zealand flax or Szechuan pepper or these kind of things. And then we've got our marketing material. So it's like, this is what it looks like as a mature plant. So you can now go and buy yourself one of those from our website. So that is a core thing, because it is, in terms of sales, in a way you have to have marketing, and face-to-face is one way of marketing. The other one is obviously online, and as the online becomes more, because I reckon in the future this will be predominantly online or mail order as a nursery. We need to think about the marketing and start practicing with that. Now, the final kind of sales strategy in a way for 2025 is to go broad on the range, like grow lots of different things, and then kind of refine at the end of the year, select what the hero plants were, what are the most popular, but also remember that fashions come and go, and just because a plant was popular last year or wasn't popular last year doesn't mean it's going to be the same next year. So it's going to be interesting, but I think one of the core parts in terms of sustainability and avoiding wastage of plants, like let's say for some reason I can't sell all of the perennial kales and they're getting a little bit big. Well, obviously with perennial plants you can repot them, and then you have a more premium product of like a mature plant that then could be sold as a instant impact plant, or it goes into our community system where for every 10 plants we sell, we're going to donate one perennial useful or edible plant to a community garden. And so that means that for things that don't perform, we can actually donate those to gardens, and so that minimizes waste in a way, which I think is pretty important. So at the moment, what's quite fun is I'm going around the gardens and I'm like taking 5 plants here of something and 7 plants there. Like there's feverfew, self-sown or oxeye daisy, and behind me I had 6 little chive plants that I've divided, and I've turned those into 20 chive plants earlier today, because what I want is to, with our focus of face-to-face sales, I want there to be variety, diversity. It's like the underlying principle of health in nature, in environments, in ecosystems, in our gardens. Diversity, diversity, diversity. Like keep honing it in. And I almost would love the stall to almost feel like a garden where people like walk past and there's all of these different colours and plants and all of these different things, and it's that kind of warm, enticing invite into it. And in order to do that, I have to have lots of different plants of all sorts of shapes, sizes and colours. And so that is a core kind of maybe more of a marketing strategy, but in terms of selling, we want to be able to offer a wide variety. I know, like back in January, I was thinking, oh, maybe at max we'll be selling 15 different things this year. I think easily it'll be upwards of 60 different things now. Include the annuals will massively help with that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. So that is our 2025 sales strategy, or main kind of nursery strategy to start bringing in the financial stuff, or directly related to that. And it's going to be a very interesting year indeed. So I need to start selecting some of the plants. I reckon like some of the perennial kales and the mints can go, and strawberries to Tamhorai on Wednesday, which is maybe the day that this video comes out. And yeah, kind of take it from there. So I'll be back soon with updates. We'll be filming the first kind of experience of a farmer's market, key takeaways, key lessons, things to change. It is a lot of trial and error, and so thought might as well share it, and hopefully it helps or inspires you guys. Or if you have a suggestion, then please let us know. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys soon.